A police officer is in hospital and 10 people have been arrested after hundreds disobeyed stay-at-home restrictions to rally on the steps of State Parliament. The demonstrators say they're fighting for their freedom, protesting social distancing laws and the rollout of 5G. Lana Murphy was there.
In the midst of a lockdown, tensions rise. A rebellion in the heart of the city.
What's the charges? What's the charges?
As a woman is led into a police van, an enraged supporter lashes out, punching an officer before being dragged to the ground.
Move back! Move back!
Followers screaming for his release.
Move back! You've been told! Move back!
He was one of 10 demonstrators arrested on the steps of Parliament for breaching social distancing restrictions.
Shocking footage from Melbourne and Sydney, Australia. A peaceful protest turned violent after police began snatching women and children from the crowd. Obviously, they were trying to incite a riot. Obviously, they were looking for a fight, ladies and gentlemen. And these protesters have every right to show up to Parliament, to the People's House, to voice their concerns about what's going on. And what happens? The deep state arrives to penetrate like some kind of Roman army. They've got their little formations. They like to group around in a circle to protect themselves, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know what happens when you put too many eggs in one basket. Many things to be said about this criminal activity. Lots of footage that they don't want you to see about women on Mother's Day being snatched up by the 5-0, by the Gestapo out there in Australia. You thought it was a peaceful place? Not anymore. The troubles have begun, ladies and gentlemen. It all started in Sydney when they arrested this poor defenseless woman. If we can get the video guy on board. But they basically raped this poor girl right there in broad daylight, took her child, and terrorized the neighborhood. And they were just peacefully protesting. They come in like the Gestapo, and they terrorize, and they snatch your children, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, the poor people in Australia, they don't even vote directly for their politicians. They're appointed by the monarchy. And they are not free people, and it is sad to see how many English-speaking countries out there are not free. In fact, every British Commonwealth state is not a free state, and they need to be free. This is 2020, ladies and gentlemen, and English-speaking people should be free in the 21st century, but you're not. Not even in America when you think about it. They've suspended your rights. And, you know, we've talked about the very nature of the current crisis gripping the world with their synthetic virus that they unleash to kill as many people as they can. Agenda 21. And if you get concerned about the evidence, if you get concerned about the lies on television, and you decide to gather peacefully to protest and petition your government, here comes the Gestapo, and the first thing they come after is like your kneecaps. They come after the women and the children. You notice how they don't have protection below the waist, ladies and gentlemen. That's really a bad situation when you think of the femoral artery there. But in any case, these 5-0 are out there snatching poor innocent children. And when you look at the footage, it looks worse than creepy Biden. Look at the guy way on the right. He's sniffing the child. They're grabbing the children. They want to rape these children. Don't think there aren't pedophiles in the police force, because there are. There's tons of them. And we've seen them cover up the crimes of Jimmy Savile and other well-known pedophiles in the United Kingdom out there. And they harbor so many pedophiles out there, and they protect them with law and order and authority, ladies and gentlemen. But these people in uniform are nothing more than representatives of the dark side, representatives of the devil, and you don't need to respect them because they represent the dark side. That is undoubtedly the situation. They shouldn't be dressing up in blue. They should be dressing in red and black like the Nazis that they are. And these people should be stripped of their authority. They work for the people, and they're coming to snatch your children and your women, and they want to be funded by our tax money. Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You need to push back when it comes to the situation out there. And they've drawn first blood in Australia. You see some of these protesters bleeding. They just came up for a peaceful day to celebrate, freedom, and they get met with tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got footage of this protest being all peaceful before the 5-0 show up and try to kill everyone. Here's basically, before and after. We're seeing some before and after footage. But as you can see here, people are being peaceful. There's no trouble here. And then all of a sudden they start snatching women and children. And obviously people start getting excited, ladies and gentlemen. And this is criminal in every regard. What they're doing to people right now during this pandemic, where they've infected the entire world so that they can be at the mercy of the vaccines and the antidote and the like. And they're telling you, obey. You've been told. This is a rebellion. Who do these people think they are? Who do they work for? Do they work for we the people, or do they work for somebody else? They work for somebody else. They work for the monarchy. Especially out there, they don't work for people. They don't work to serve and protect you. They work to enslave and punish you. People are trying to fight for their freedom, and they're getting arrested for it. And they're not even fighting. They're just showing up with like signs, and they're speaking their mind. Is that illegal to speak your mind? Obviously it is. But people need to remind the quote-unquote authorities who they work for. We don't work for them. We're not their slaves. These are our rights. This is our country. This is a country for, of, and by the people, ladies and gentlemen. That's the mantra out there. And the deep state doesn't want to hear it. The people on the television, they don't want to hear it. And to see them package up this protest into some kind of terrorist event where people have gone wild is disingenuous at best. What we see here is the police state arrive and essentially kidnap women and children and expect everything to be all right. No, it's not all right. What's going on out there is not all right. And this uniform that you wear doesn't justify what you're doing. You're the Gestapo. You've now become enemies of the Republic, enemies of the free people. And, it might be one thing when there's only a couple hundred people there protesting for their rights. You might be able to manage a couple hundred people, but you're not going to be able to manage a mob of 10,000 people, because they're coming. The people are coming for their rights. They're coming for their country back. They're coming for their lives back. They're tired of being irradiated, vaccinated, fluoridated, and sprayed like bugs. People are tired of being treated like slaves in their very own countries. They're tired of being terrorized by this government that's like a sociopath run wild, trying to provoke reasons to justify their very existence. What the government has become like the rogue firefighter starting fires. And they're like, see, you need us. We're starting all these fires. Look at all these fires. If we're not here, who's going to protect you? This is racketeering. That's what these people do. Let's listen to, this news clip from the Deep State They Live television.
A police officer is in hospital and 10 people have been arrested after hundreds disobeyed stay-at-home restrictions to rally on the steps of state parliament.
Hundreds disobeyed to rally together for their rights.
The demonstrators say they're fighting for their freedom.
They're fighting for their freedom. What a criminal cause. How dare these people fight for their freedom? Ladies and gentlemen, how dare they?
Protesting social distancing laws and
she's not even a real blonde, by the way, you can tell.
The rollout of 5G. Lana Murphy was there.
Oh, you don't want to get irradiated? Hey, pay attention to the little pentagram right next to the girl, right? That's there for a reason. They want you to know who they are, who they work for. They work for the devil, and they want your children, and they want your soul.
In the midst of a lockdown, tensions rise.
Tensions rise. It was peaceful until the Gestapo arrived, until these inciters of violence arrived. Look how shady they are. Like, they can't even stand the light. They got to be in full darkness all the time. That's how, dark the light is within them, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the crowd, the people boo and hiss the Gestapo. That's what they are. These people should be ashamed of themselves. They need to find a real job instead of trying to terrorize people, because it's going to blow back in their face. It just takes, a $5 box of nails, and people start peppering that on the street of, police headquarters, and all of their shit just shuts down. It takes a $5 box of nails to shut these people down. And you want to sit there and get terrorized?
Let her out! Let her out!
A rebellion in the heart of the city.
A rebellion, they say. A rebellion against the monarchy.
As a woman is led into a police van, an enraged supporter lashes out.
Of course, he's trying to defend. I mean, who wants the goon squad snatching your women and children, ladies and gentlemen? People have a right to defend themselves. And, it's going to get ugly.
Punching an officer before being dragged to the ground.
I think people could contest the label officer, ladies and gentlemen. That's the deep state vernacular. These people are not officers of the law. They're not peace officers. They are the Gestapo.
Move back! Move back!
See how they're pushing people, how they attack you and violate your rights? See how they shout at you like rabid dogs?
Was screaming for his release.
Move back! You've been told!
You've been told. Oh, I wish I was there.
Move back!
You've been told.
He was one of 10 demonstrators arrested on the steps of Parliament for breaching social distancing restrictions.
Look at these people. It's a shame, ladies and gentlemen, but it's nice to see people in Australia waking up and fighting for their independence, fighting for their right to not be irradiated. And what do these cowards do? The first thing they do, they come after your women and your children. And they want to dress up in blue and wear the uniform. These are not police officers. These are not peace officers. These are the Gestapo. They are agents of the dark side, and they are enemies of the free republic of the people, of humans. They're enemies of humanity. Look at how they snatch children. Look at this guy sniffing the child. They're snatching little babies in the baby carriage. Look at this. Look at the one on the left. And they want to call themselves heroes. They want us to applaud them and to celebrate them. Please, please, you're not getting any respect over here. And, I'm sure you got all of these Five Eyes, spy groups sniffing and, getting upset and the like. You're dooming yourselves. You're not going to be able to withstand the wrath of the people. You're only a few. We are many, ladies and gentlemen. We are many. And if we all show up, if we all just pick a date like July 4th and fight for our independence and topple these illegal regimes that would gas you and irradiate you and, make your children retarded with their vaccines, not to mention groom your children. If we don't stand up to these people, it's only going to get worse. You don't have free and fair elections out there. These people are not duly elected. It's a fraud. They give you a choice between two people, two little groups of people, and you think you're free? Are you kidding me? This is not freedom. This is not democracy, and this is not how the system is supposed to work. When the system is weaponized against you, they are the enemy, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.